Listen carefully. Have you ever truly noticed what happens when the storm hits? When life gets hard and the weight on your shoulders feels heavier than ever before? It's strange, isn't it? How suddenly the crowd that once surrounded you, laughing and celebrating your victories, starts to thin out. How the loud voices of support fade into whispers and eventually silence. Have you ever wondered why, in your most difficult moments, so many people seem to disappear? Why the very ones who promise to stand by you vanish when you need them the most? It's a question that cuts deep. It's a painful reality that we all face at some point, yet it's one we often avoid confronting. Because the truth can sting. The truth is this: when you enter the storm, when life challenges you beyond what you thought you could bear, not everyone will walk through the fire with you. Many will turn away, many will find excuses, many will leave. This is not because you are unworthy of love or support. It is because hardship reveals the true nature of relationships and the true character of people. Think about it for a moment. When everything is going well, it's easy to surround yourself with people. Everyone wants to be near success, happiness, and light. It's natural to attract crowds when you're smiling, winning, and thriving. But what happens when the tide turns, when setbacks hit, and you find yourself struggling to keep your head above water? Suddenly, the crowd thins. The people who were so eager to share your laughter are quiet now. The ones who cheered your every move seem to disappear. Why? Because tough times demand something more than celebration and cheer. They demand patience, sacrifice, loyalty, and sometimes the willingness to bear witness to your pain without trying to fix it or walk away. Difficult moments don't just test you, they test everyone around you. They expose who is truly invested in your journey, not just in your success. This realization is painful but powerful. It's a wake-up call that forces you to look inward. It forces you to ask yourself, who am I depending on? And more importantly, who can I count on when the world turns its back? Because if you expect everyone to stand by you, you will be left shattered, confused, and alone. But if you understand that being alone in hardship is part of the path, you can prepare yourself differently. You begin to build strength from within. You learn resilience. You learn that your greatest support system isn't the crowd. It's your own spirit, your own resolve. When the noise fades and the people leave, what remains is your courage, your faith in yourself, and your ability to keep moving forward despite the odds. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself or expect loneliness. No, it means you should cherish and nurture the rare few who remain, the ones who don't turn away in the storm. But even more than that, it means you should cultivate a relationship with yourself that is unbreakable. A relationship where you are your own source of strength and encouragement. There is something deeply liberating about this truth. It frees you from the constant fear of abandonment because you no longer rely solely on others to carry you. You learn that no matter who walks away, no matter how many doors close, you have a power inside you that cannot be taken. That power is your perseverance, your belief in yourself, and your willingness to face the storm head on. So the next time you find yourself alone, remember this moment. Remember that you are not truly alone, because you have within you the strength to rise. The ones who leave are making space for those who will lift you higher. And sometimes the hardest walk you take is the one you must make alone, so that you can discover just how strong you really are. Listen carefully. The storm will come, it will shake you, it will test your heart and soul. And when it does, pay attention not only to who stays, but also to how you stand. Because that moment, that challenge, will define who you are. And it will teach you the most important lesson of all, that in the end, the person you must trust above all is yourself. Challenges reveal true colors. Not everyone who is around in good times will stay in bad times. This is a hard truth, but it is one that life insists we understand deeply if we want to grow, to become stronger, and to live authentically. When everything is smooth and easy, it's simple to be surrounded by friends, family, and supporters. The air is filled with laughter, celebrations, and plans for the future. People want to be near the light, near success, near happiness. But when those bright days fade, when the sky darkens and the winds of hardship blow fiercely, the true nature of those around you becomes clear. Difficult times act like a mirror, reflecting the real intentions, priorities, and values of those in your life. They reveal who is there because they genuinely care, and who is there because it's convenient or rewarding to be so. When you are thriving, it's easy for many to stay by your side, but the moment you stumble, falter, or struggle, many will quietly walk away, unable or unwilling to face the discomfort that your pain brings. It hurts deeply, doesn't it, to look around and realize that some of the people you thought were your closest allies are nowhere to be found when you need them the most. You feel betrayed, abandoned, or maybe even invisible. You wonder why the support vanished just when you were asking for help or simply a listening ear. But the truth is that their absence doesn't diminish your worth or your struggle. It exposes their limits. Challenges do not just test you, they test those who claim to stand with you. They ask, are you willing to be uncomfortable for their sake? Can you be patient when their pain becomes yours? Will you stay even when there's no immediate benefit for you? The answers to these questions determine who stays and who leaves. Some people are there for the celebration, but only a few are willing to endure the storm with you. This realization is painful but necessary. It teaches you to be cautious with your trust and to recognize the difference between fair, weather friends and those who are loyal through every season. But it also teaches you something even more important. You can't rely entirely on others to carry you through your darkest hours. You must find a strength within yourself that no one else can take away. This doesn't mean you should build walls around your heart or refuse to lean on others. It means you must build resilience so that when the support you hoped for doesn't come, you are still able to stand tall. You learn to fill your own cup first so that you don't dry out waiting for others to pour into you. The lessons that challenges teach us about people are not only about others, they are about ourselves. They help us grow in patience, empathy, and wisdom. They push us to develop a deeper understanding of human nature, which can be both beautiful and disappointing. But above all, they encourage us to become more self-reliant and more compassionate, not only toward others, but also toward ourselves. When you face hardship, you learn to see clearly. You start to appreciate the small acts of kindness that might have gone unnoticed before. You begin to cherish the few who stay when everyone else leaves, and you realize that their loyalty is a gift to be treasured. These are the people who show up without conditions, who don't measure their support based on what they get back, but simply because they care. At the same time, you also learn not to take abandonment personally. When people leave, it often reflects their own fears, limitations, or inability to cope, not your value. This is a critical understanding because it frees you from bitterness and resentment. You stop wasting your energy trying to change those who are not willing to stay and instead focus on nurturing those relationships that are genuine. Challenges shape us in ways comfort never can. They strip away the superficial and leave us with what is real and essential. They demand that we look honestly at our relationships and our own capacity for endurance. Through this process, we emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the inevitable storms of life. So, when the next challenge comes, and it will remember that it is not only testing you but everyone around you, it is revealing who stands with you and who walks away. But most importantly, it is revealing your own true strength. Embrace this revelation, learn from it, and let it guide you toward deeper connections, greater self-awareness, and an unshakable inner resolve. Because in the end, challenges don't just break us, they make us. And the people who remain when the dust settles are those who have chosen to see the real you, and love you anyway. When life pushes you into the depths of hardship, when the ground beneath you feels unstable and the future looks uncertain, the first and most important lesson is this: you must learn to rely on yourself. It's a harsh truth, but one that transforms the way you see the world and your place within it. Because no matter how many hands reach out to help, No matter how many voices promise support, at the end of the day, the person who will be there through every moment of struggle, every sleepless night, every battle with doubt is you. Self-reliance is not about isolation or shutting people out. It's about cultivating a strength inside so powerful that even when the world turns cold and empty, you can stand tall and keep moving forward. It's about building a foundation within yourself that no external storm can shake. This foundation is built from courage, discipline, patience, and faith in your own ability to endure. Think about a time when you faced a challenge and no one seemed to be there. Maybe it was a loss, a failure, or a moment of deep personal pain. How did you feel? Alone, afraid, lost? These feelings are natural, but they also mark the beginning of a transformation. Because in that space of solitude, you come face to face with your own power. You learn that you don't have to wait for others to rescue you, to fix your problems, or to lift you up. You have the strength within you all along. Self-reliance demands honesty with yourself. It asks you to look beyond excuses and distractions and recognize your own role in your journey. It encourages you to stop blaming circumstances or people and instead take ownership of your path. When you do this, you shift from being a victim of life's events to becoming the master of your destiny. But this doesn't mean you won't feel fear or doubt. It doesn't mean the road will be easy. Self-reliance means pushing through those moments of uncertainty when your heart trembles and your mind screams for comfort. It means showing up for yourself when no one else does. It means believing in your potential even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. There's a quiet kind of power in this. It's the power that whispers, "I will get through this. I am capable. I am enough." And that power grows stronger each time you choose to stand on your own feet, to face the storm without flinching, to keep going despite the pain. Building self-reliance is also about preparing yourself before the storm hits. It's about developing habits that strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. It's about learning skills that make you independent, emotional intelligence to manage your feelings, problem solving to navigate obstacles, and resilience to bounce back from setbacks. It's about nurturing a mindset that welcomes challenges as opportunities to grow rather than threats to your survival. When you become self-reliant, you start to see your life differently. You no longer fear loneliness because you understand it's a space where you grow strongest. You no longer feel desperate for constant approval because your confidence comes from within. You no longer depend on others to define your worth because you have claimed that power for yourself. This kind of strength doesn't isolate you from others. On the contrary, it frees you to build healthier, more genuine relationships. When you don't rely on others to fill voids inside you, you can connect with them out of love and mutual respect, not need or fear. You can support others without losing yourself and accept support without feeling weak. Self-reliance is the armor that guards your heart in difficult times. It protects you from being swept away by disappointment, betrayal, or abandonment. It reminds you that even if no one stands by you, you are never truly alone because you carry within you the power to stand tall. So when life becomes difficult, don't search outside yourself first. Look inward, trust yourself. Believe that no matter how dark the night, your inner light is enough to guide you through. Make peace with being your own strongest ally, because that is where true freedom and strength lie. Remember, the journey of self-reliance is not a lonely path. It is the path to your greatest victory. It is the path where you become whole, unshaken, and unstoppable. And in mastering this, you discover a truth that will carry you through every trial life throws your way. The most reliable person in your life will always be you. When life tests you, when everything around you feels like it's falling apart, one of the hardest lessons to learn is how to truly recognize who stands by you and who doesn't. It's easy to say, "I have friends," or "I have family." But when the storm hits, the reality of who your real support system is becomes crystal clear. Understanding the value of true relationships is one of the most important steps you can take. not just for surviving tough times, but for thriving beyond them. True relationships are rare treasures. They don't simply show up when life is easy or when the spotlight is on you. They are the ones that stick around when the world seems to turn against you, when your smile fades and your strength is tested. These relationships aren't built on convenience, obligation, or fleeting moments of happiness. They are forged in the fires of honesty, sacrifice, loyalty, and unwavering support. At first, it might be painful to realize that some of the people you considered close are not willing to stand by you when the going gets tough. It can feel like betrayal, like abandonment. But the truth is, their departure is not a reflection of your worth or your struggles. It's a reflection of their own limits. Everyone carries their own fears and weaknesses, and not everyone is equipped to handle someone else's storm. That's okay, but it means you have to be discerning. Learning to value true relationships means learning to see beyond surface appearances. It means looking for consistency over grand gestures, loyalty over words, and presence over promises. The person who truly values you will show it not only in your brightest days, but also in your darkest nights. They will be willing to sit with your pain, to listen without judgment, and to offer their support even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. True relationships don't require you to be perfect or always strong. They don't fade when you show your vulnerabilities or admit your mistakes. Instead, they provide a safe space where you can be your authentic self, without fear of rejection or criticism. They are the people who celebrate your victories without envy, and who stand beside you in defeat without shame. At the same time, valuing true relationships means valuing yourself enough to set boundaries. It means understanding that not every connection is meant to last forever, and that some relationships may need to change or end for your own well-being. Sometimes, the hardest act of love is to let go of those who drain your energy or diminish your spirit. True relationships lift you up. They don't weigh you down. This process of discernment is not about cynicism or mistrust. It's about clarity and wisdom. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are precious, and that investing them in the right people will nourish your soul. It's about building a circle of support that is genuine, reciprocal, and enduring. When you surround yourself with true relationships, you create a foundation that can withstand life's challenges. These people become your refuge, your strength, and your motivation. Their faith in you can reignite your own faith when you feel lost. Their presence can remind you that you are not alone, even when everything seems bleak. But it's also important to remember that true relationships require effort from both sides. They are not one-way streets. They ask for your honesty, your patience, your forgiveness, and your love. They ask you to show up even when it's hard and to hold space for others when they struggle. This mutual commitment is what makes these bonds unbreakable. Valuing true relationships is not just about who stands by you in difficult times. It's about who you are willing to stand by as well. It's about creating a community built on trust, respect, and genuine care. It's about being the kind of person others can rely on. The kind of friend who doesn't disappear when things get rough. In the end, the quality of your relationships shapes the quality of your life. When you learn to recognize and cherish true connections, you are not just surviving hard times, you are growing through them. You are building a support system that nurtures your heart, challenges your mind, and inspires your spirit. So, when life feels overwhelming, look around and ask yourself, who is truly here for me, who shows up not just in words but in actions, who sees me, accepts me, and stands with me without conditions. These are the relationships to hold onto tightly. These are the people who remind you of your worth when you forget it yourself. And remember, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. When you value and respect yourself, you set the standard for how others treat you. You attract those who honor your worth and let go of those who don't. True relationships are gift, precious and rare. They are the light that guides you through the darkness, the hands that lift you when you fall, and the voices that remind you of hope when despair threatens to consume you. Learn to value them, protect them, and above all, be worthy of them. Difficult times, they come for all of us. They arrive uninvited, unannounced, shaking the very foundations of our lives. When faced with adversity, it's natural to want to resist, to fight back, or sometimes even to give up. But there's a deeper truth hidden within those moments of struggle. Difficult times aren't just obstacles blocking your path. They are powerful opportunities for growth, if you're willing to see them that way. It's easy to view hardship as something to avoid, something that causes pain and loss. And yes, pain is real, loss is real. But what if I told you that within every difficulty lies a seed of transformation? That these moments, as harsh as they feel, are the very crucibles that forge your strength, your wisdom, and your character. That without challenge there can be no growth. Growth through adversity is not just about surviving. It's about learning to thrive despite the circumstances. It's about discovering parts of yourself you never knew existed. Resilience, courage, patience, and a deeper sense of purpose. When life pushes you to the edge, it's tempting to look outward for answers or blame the situation or people around you. But the most profound changes happen when you look inward, face the struggle head on, and allow yourself to be shaped by it. Every time you face a setback, you have a choice. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. It's in those moments of pain, confusion, and doubt that your true self begins to emerge. You learn what matters most. You understand what you're willing to fight for. You realize that strength isn't about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. Think about the toughest moments you've experienced. Those nights when you felt utterly alone, when hope seemed like a distant memory. Those moments felt unbearable, and yet here you are. You survived, and in surviving you grew. The struggle may have been painful, but it expanded your capacity for empathy, patience, and love. It made you more human, more connected to yourself and to others. Growth through adversity also teaches humility. It strips away pride and illusions of control, reminding us that life is unpredictable, but it also reveals our power to choose our response. You might not be able to control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. That realization is liberating. It puts the power back in your hands, and there is beauty in that struggle. In the process of overcoming hardship, you discover reserves of strength and resilience you didn't know you had. You learn to appreciate the small victories, the quiet moments of peace, and the gradual rebuilding of your spirit. Growth through adversity transforms pain into purpose, fear into faith, and loss into lessons. This growth isn't always comfortable. In fact, it's often painful, but pain is part of the process. It's the sign that change is happening deep within. Like muscles that grow stronger after strain, your spirit becomes tougher with every challenge you face. You learn to trust yourself more. You develop a patience that only comes from walking through fire and coming out stronger on the other side. It's important to remember that growth through adversity doesn't mean you won't feel broken or lost sometimes. You will, but those feelings don't last forever. They are part of the journey, not the destination. Each step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Each lesson learned is a victory. And each day you choose to keep moving forward, despite the pain, is a triumph. When you embrace growth through adversity, you begin to see life differently. You start to welcome challenges as teachers rather than enemies. You understand that every hardship has a purpose, even if it's not immediately clear. This mindset shift changes everything. It turns fear into curiosity, despair into determination, and setbacks into stepping stones. So when the next difficult time comes, and it will, don't run from it. Don't wish it away. Instead, face it with open eyes and an open heart. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? How can this shape me into the person I'm meant to become? The journey through adversity is not easy, but it is worth it. Because on the other side of pain lies growth, and with growth comes a deeper, richer life. A life where you know your strength, your resilience, and your capacity to overcome. A life where challenges are no longer roadblocks, but bridges to your highest self. Remember, the darkest nights produce the brightest stars, and it's through the fires of hardship that your true light begins to shine. In life's most trying moments, the sense of abandonment can feel overwhelming, as if the whole world has turned its back on you. The silence left by those who once promised to stand by your side echoes loudly, amplifying feelings of loneliness and despair. But there is a powerful truth that emerges from these depths. Being left alone in difficult times is not the end of your story. In fact, it can be the beginning of the most profound chapter of your life. A chapter where you discover your inner strength, resilience, and capacity to heal and grow. It's a hard truth to accept. When people leave, when the support you counted on disappears, it feels like a personal rejection. Your mind races with questions. Why didn't they stay? Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? These questions pull at your heart, threatening to pull you under. But the reality is more complex. People leave for their own reasons, often because they cannot face their own fears, weaknesses, or pain. Their departure is not a reflection of your value, but a reflection of their limitations. In those moments of solitude, it's easy to sink into despair, to believe that you are truly alone. But solitude is not loneliness. There is a profound difference. Solitude is a space, a quiet, sacred space, where you can reconnect with yourself. It is an opportunity to listen deeply to your own heart, to understand your true needs, your fears, and your hopes without distraction or compromise. Solitude becomes a powerful teacher, guiding you towards self-awareness and self-love. When you find yourself alone, you begin to realize that you have been carrying an immense reservoir of strength all along. Strength you never fully recognized because you relied too much on others to remind you of it. Being left alone strips away external validation and forces you to turn inward. And in that turning inward, you discover a wellspring of courage and resilience that can sustain you through even the darkest nights. This discovery is not just about survival, it's about transformation. It's about learning to stand on your own 2 feet with unwavering confidence, to trust your instincts, and to nurture your own spirit. Being left alone teaches you to become your own greatest ally, your own source of comfort and encouragement. It's a process of building a relationship with yourself that is grounded in compassion, patience, and understanding. The beauty of this journey is that it fosters independence without isolation. When you cultivate self-reliance, you are not shutting others out. You are simply creating a foundation of strength within so that you don't crumble when others leave. You learn to appreciate the company of others without depending on it to define your happiness or worth. This balance is liberating because it frees you from the fear of abandonment and rejection. It's important to remember that being alone does not mean being weak. In fact, it takes immense strength to face life's challenges without the comfort of familiar support. Every step you take alone is a testament to your bravery, your determination, and your refusal to be defeated by circumstances. Each moment of solitude is an act of resilience, a declaration that you will not give up on yourself. At the same time, solitude allows for deep healing. It gives you the space to process your pain, to grieve losses, and to release bitterness or anger that may have built up inside. Healing cannot happen in the noise of distractions or the demands of others. It requires quiet moments of reflection and self-care. In solitude, you can tend to your wounds gently and patiently, allowing your spirit to mend and grow stronger. Over time, being alone in difficult times becomes less frightening. You begin to see it as a powerful phase, a necessary passage toward greater self-knowledge and empowerment. You realize that while you cannot control who stays or leaves, you can control how you respond. You choose to embrace solitude as an opportunity rather than a punishment. You choose to nurture hope, even when everything feels bleak. This mindset transforms your experience of hardship. You no longer feel like a victim of abandonment, but a survivor and thriver. You carry with you the wisdom that your worth is inherent, not dependent on others' presence. You recognize that the moments you spend alone are investments in your strength and your future. And when others do return, whether friends, family, or new companions, you welcome them from a place of confidence and self-respect. You no longer cling to relationships out of fear, but choose connections that honor your journey and your growth. You create boundaries that protect your peace and nurture your well-being. Ultimately, being left alone in difficult times teaches the most profound lesson of all, that you are enough. That your inner light is powerful, enduring, and capable of guiding you through any darkness. That even in solitude, you are never truly alone, because you carry within you the strength to stand tall, the courage to keep moving forward, and the grace to create a life filled with meaning and hope. So when the people you expected to stand by your side walk away, don't let it break you. Let it build you. Let it remind you that the greatest support you will ever have is the one you give yourself. In those quiet moments of being alone, you find the true essence of who you are, and that discovery is priceless. When everything around you feels uncertain and your heart is heavy with disappointment, one truth stands out above all else. Your resilience is your greatest asset. Resilience is not just a word. It's the fire inside you that refuses to be extinguished, the force that keeps you standing even when the world seems determined to knock you down. It is the power to face adversity head on, to absorb the blows of life, and to rise again with strength that surprises even yourself. Resilience is often misunderstood as something you either have or you don't. But it's far more than a fixed trait. It's a skill you build, a muscle you strengthen every day through your choices, your mindset, and your actions. It is forged in the crucible of hardship and shaped by the way you respond to your challenges. The pain you feel, the setbacks you endure, the losses you mourn, they all contribute to your resilience if you allow them to. Imagine resilience as a tree standing in the storm. The winds howl, the rain pounds, and yet the tree bends but does not break. It absorbs the force, it adapts, and when the storm passes, it stands taller and stronger. You are that tree. Every difficult experience is a storm that tests your roots, challenges your flexibility, and invites you to grow deeper and more steadfast. Building resilience begins with acceptance. It means acknowledging your pain without denying it or letting it define you. It means looking your struggles in the eye and saying, "I see you, but you will not consume me." This acceptance is not resignation, it is empowerment. It frees you from the paralysis of resistance and opens the door to healing and growth. Resilience also requires self-compassion. Life's challenges can leave you feeling broken and vulnerable, and it's easy to become your own harshest critic. But resilience thrives in kindness to yourself and to your journey. When you stumble, treat yourself with the same grace you would offer a dear friend. Understand that setbacks are part of the human experience and that you are worthy of patience and love no matter what. Another vital aspect of resilience is hope, the belief that things can and will get better even when the present moment feels unbearable. Hope is not naive optimism, it is a conscious choice to focus on possibilities, to see light even in the darkest times. It is the quiet voice inside that says, "Keep going. This is not the end." Resilience also grows through connection. While it may feel like you must face challenges alone, true resilience is often nurtured by relationships that provide support, encouragement, and understanding. Reaching out for help, accepting kindness, and sharing your burdens don't diminish your strength. They enhance it. Humans are wired for connection, and resilience is amplified when we lean on others and allow ourselves to be supported. Every challenge you overcome adds to your reservoir of resilience. It becomes easier to navigate future difficulties because you carry the lessons learned, the confidence gained, and the strength proven. You start to trust yourself more, knowing that no matter what comes, you have the capacity to endure and overcome. But resilience is not about never feeling pain or never breaking down. It's about what happens after you fall. It's about the courage to get up again, to keep moving forward even when your body aches and your spirit feels weary. Resilience is the journey of healing, rebuilding, and reclaiming your power. It's also about perspective. When you cultivate resilience, you begin to see hardships not as punishments, but as essential parts of your growth. You realize that the struggle itself can be a source of meaning and strength. This shift in perspective transforms your relationship with adversity. It becomes less about surviving and more about thriving. In the moments when you feel like giving up, remind yourself that resilience is within you. It's the voice that whispers in your darkest hours, "You are stronger than you know." It's the hand that reaches out from your deepest self to pull you back from despair. It's the light that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how fierce the storm. As you nurture your resilience, you become a beacon of hope, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Your journey through hardship becomes a testament to the human spirit's incredible capacity to heal and grow. You inspire others to find their own strength and to believe that they too can overcome. So hold on to your resilience. Protect it, cultivate it, and let it guide you through the toughest times. Know that every step you take in courage, every act of perseverance, every moment of hope adds to the unbreakable foundation beneath your feet. And in the end, you will stand tall, not just as someone who survived, but as someone who rose stronger and wiser because of everything they faced. Your resilience is your power. It is the heart of your journey, the soul of your story. Never forget that within you lies the strength to overcome any challenge, to weather any storm, and to emerge not only whole but radiant.